Hey everybody, I'm here with the director and star of a film that is going to be premiering at the Tribeca Film Festival on June 7th. The film is titled White Belt, and the two folks who are here with me associated with the film are the director, Branislav Jankic, and supermodel, former supermodel, I should say, Monika Jagaciak. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having us.
I saw this documentary and I thought it was a really interesting story, which I think lends itself towards the format and why it was probably chosen for the festival. You don't see this kind of story too often, where again, someone pivots so dramatically from one type of career field to the other. Talk to me a little about the genesis of this story, what it's all about, and how it came to be.
So in 2024, I turned 30 and I took a little bit of a break earlier on from modeling since I had my daughter and I went to the art school before that. So going back into fashion industry in New York City, I found myself a little bit disappointed in the sense that I couldn't build my confidence anymore in the career that I was at. I didn't really feel proud of all my achievement from past 15 years, even though they were really big on the paper. But somehow I didn't feel like it was me who made it happen. It was more the agents and the casting directors and other people that were kind of there for me, and they were the ones making the calls, and I was basically just showing up. So, being at that stage of my life, I thought I need to rebuild myself somehow, and I need to do something that I can fully claim. So that's how Jiu-Jitsu came in. It was my personal challenge that I wanted to do and kind of complete 8 months of training and go into the World Championships in Las Vegas after.
Yeah, no, that's great. And how did that kind of desire to shift your life and your career turn into the documentary that became First Belt or White Belt?
I think this would have to be Brani who will answer this because he was the one who convinced me to make this film. He's also my life partner and my husband. So
Oh,
he saw me doing it, and I guess he can answer why.
Well,
yeah,
it's like you pointed it out first. It's this kind of a strange story to see, and prior to that, person asked a great question. I thought, if you remember the '80s, '90s film, it was this sort of like sports films were so it made you feel good. You had
sure.
the story of the little boy or somebody like the underdog, and then just becoming the champion, right? So I was very much inspired by that, and then I thought Monika's story that I knew personally really well, I said, well, this is a great way to contrast it with the martial arts sport, and to kind of once you combine it, something will happen. Well, this story will have a very different lighting or different perspective. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so you shot it over the course of the 8 months that she was training, or what point sort of in the transition journey did you start like, okay, let's start actually filming this and build the documentary out? Because I know you got to do interviews and collect footage and all the other things that are necessary for building a documentary.
I started shooting the first day, the day when she walked actually inside the Gregor Gracie gym in Brooklyn, New York. um, and we just filmed their reaction, or like, even when she first met him and she first told him, hey, I want to compete in 8 months in the World Championship in Las Vegas, and he's their first train. So I filmed from that moment on almost every training they had. Sometimes of course they didn't have the cameras and it wasn't the right timing. I felt we had to be very careful that we were, it's such a respectful gym, so we were really intrusive with the camera and the lighting. So I filmed all the way up till then, and actually the training montage, like Rocky and all those big films, was intended to be part of it. It's just as, in 20 minutes or 19 minutes, you really don't have that. Her story was dominantly taking over our decision to don't portray that, because and then basically we start from the beginning when she arrives to Las Vegas, and this
Yeah.
is sort of the beginning of everything. Yeah.
Okay, great. There's a lot of martial arts out there. What drew you towards jujitsu over the other ones?
We met when we started filming, the time that I'm talking about is in 24. We're living in Brooklyn and we have some really close friends that are associated and they're black belts with Gregor. And also our daughter started training at that gym. So I kind of had a pick of how the sport looks like, and it felt something that it wouldn't be natural for me to go into. And I think I was craving something that's out of my comfort zone. So that's how the decision was made, and thanks to the fact that we had those personal connections, I was able to, ask Gregor to be my coach and his team. So they helped me a lot in the 8 months.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I have a friend of mine who went to Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, so she was very much into it, and it's intense. Like, I'm twice as big as she is, and she'd taken me down with all the grapples and everything like that. It's crazy. Is martial arts big in Poland?
You know what? MMA is pretty big in Poland these days, and we have some really good fighters. I would say, well, the world champion for the past 2 years, I think he just retired now. But so there was the champion at heavyweight is Polish, Adam Wardziński. So
Hmm.
it's getting bigger for sure. It's
Okay.
getting bigger all over the world. I think jiu-jitsu has grew so much in the last couple of years. It became like the cool sport for everybody. But I'm really happy because you know what? It's really, it builds your confidence. It's so good for your mental health too.
Hmm.
So I recommend to anybody if they want to try something new.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm half Polish myself, and I think it's so great to see Polish representation in any sort of form in media. Do you feel as sort of a representative Poland, being that, that's where you're from, and are you proud to be representing Poland in this film?
100%. I think, even in the film, I say how where I come from, and I come from a 10,000 people city, so town.
Yeah,
So it's to come from Central Europe, Eastern Europe, whatever you want to call it. I feel like this could be a big conversation now.
yeah, right. Yeah.
So, but and to come to America and kind of start from nothing, from coming in at 15, modeling, making my way up, and then going into, like, I always felt very proud of my country. I'm raised there, my whole family is still there. I still have very, very tight connection to Poland. So yeah, definitely. I love to represent.
Yeah, there you go. Go back often, I presume.
I try to go back at least twice a year.
Good,
Yes.
good. So, the film is titled White Belt, and so you earn your white belt in the film. Are you at a higher belt now, or are you still a white belt?
It's embarrassing, but I'm not. I think there was a part of it was that the 8 months of training and then going to competition, it felt so fulfilling that after that, our life got really busy,
Right.
with editing the film. And then later we soon after also decided to leave New York City and move to LA.
Oh,
So losing the connection to the gym and the amazing trainers, I was never able to find any other gym that felt the same. And
right.
I think my idea of the sport was that and these people and those connections, and
Right.
to
Sure.
rebuild that you need so much time. And yeah, I kind of felt like it was a full circle. I would love to go back. I actually really, really enjoy the sport. uh,
Hmm.
but maybe when the life slow downs a little bit.
Yeah. Or maybe you try different martial arts too. I mean,
Mhm.
I did Taekwondo for 3 years, and when my, sensei left the area, I kind of just stopped doing Taekwondo because it was like, my love of the martial art was connected to him, and I don't feel going to another training. So I definitely see what you're going with there, and I feel you the same way. Let me ask, Branislav, what was sort of the technical details of how you filmed this? What kind of camera did you use, or some of the challenges you had in filming the documentary?
Well, the cameras we used were a mix between 16 millimeter and a digital camera that was switching from an RE, mini RE, and Panasonic. Um, and the difficulties were, well, to film it, the difficult part was to get Monica in this discomfort again, since we're very close with each other.
Hmm.
The intimacy is actually a problem because even though it seems like, oh, we're going to be open to each other, but when you know each other's tricks, everything, it feels all right. It's like it doesn't feel really authentic. So to break that, we had to kind of, I faked that we are filming and she would believe that. And then when we didn't film, I would, set up the interviews so that it was right before the competition or right before something big, so that she felt anxious about it, so that answers came out more raw. And one of the difficult part in the editing was sound mixing, with a lot of those sounds from the competition, to filter them, to focus them to just her fighting was challenging, because there's so much going into our recording. So that was the challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you filmed it over the course of the 8 months of her training, and then how long did you spend like editing it?
For a year, like a year. So we right after we decided to relocate to Los Angeles, we're prepping. So beginning of 25, we went into the editing room, and then we still had to reshoot few things. Like in Poland, interviews in the restaurant, they were shot in Warsaw, Poland. So adding something more to the stories, going back, working. So it took here and there like 6 7 months till it fully finished, and then color grading and all that. So we were finished towards the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk to me about some, you mentioned kind of the, I would say, intricacies that come from, doing a documentary on a family member. Talk to me about kind of how your previous director roles helped prepare you for that, and kind of, do you feel maybe that the documentary would have been helped if perhaps it was done by an outsider, or do you think that your intimate connection to the subject helped make the documentary better?
Well, I never see myself, I never really like that word director or filmmaker, because I always see myself as a storyteller. And
Hmm.
as a storyteller, I'm generally interested in people's stories. And
Sure.
so I like to go deep into, spending time with doesn't matter who it is that I like to portray. And so with my wife, that part was already given. We're already living together, having a daughter together, so I know her
Yeah.
into. So it was basically just shifting how I would approach with other people. You have to rebuild that trust, and then they allow you to come into their world. With her, that was already given. So it was the other way around. So I had to make it a little more uncomfortable for her, which manipulate the settings so that she felt, what is going on right now? Why are we doing this right now before my competition? And she got angry at me and all that. So that kind of fueled our ways of working. So to answer your question, it helped, but also didn't. It was a very different approach. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Monica, you've conquered the world of jujitsu. What's next for you? And I'm sure the subject of the next documentary that will be the sequel to this. So what's kind of the next challenge for you?
Oh my God. Like I said, we made so many changes to our life in the past year since this documentary was kind of edited and done. So we moved to, another side of America. So we're in LA now. We're setting up a new business for ourselves. Brani is continuing making his films, and I'm also part of his next film that he's been working on for 11 years.
Oh,
So it's my first acting experience, but
okay.
yet I'm acting for my husband, so it feels a little bit different. And again, very, very intimate.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, Brian, do you want to say what the movie's about? I feel like you're much better at telling it.
I don't want to take away too much from what we're talking about, White Belt, but it is a film that is very intimate to us. I'm really excited to share it very soon. We're in the final process of editing it. So, but yeah, the White Belt, I think, is the one that we're mostly excited to see how people are going to react to that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. How does it feel to have your film being premiered at Tribeca?
Um, it, so you want to answer, my love?
Yeah, I still, I mean, for me, as a storyteller, it's such a honor, like this is one of my favorite festivals. When I first got to New York, and I was working literally across the street where the festival was appearing, and so I was like always dreamed about one day I'm gonna make something that will be worth, and it will enter that. So it took many years, but I'm super excited and very, very honored to be at the, not just the Tribeca Film Festival, but it's the 25th anniversary. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's very important, indeed. And if I see you out there, I'll definitely be sure to say hello. Before we run out of time here and say goodbye, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think you asked how does it feel, and I was just thinking about it yesterday. I arrived to New York a little earlier. I'm already in New York City because I had a modeling job. But now I'm here specifically to show my film, a film about myself on Tribeca, and it's such a different circumstances to be here. And I used to always come here for work, for to portray somebody else in front of the camera. So now to be here and have my friends come in and see the very honest film that we made together, I think it's such a life-changing moment for me. So that's exactly so many things that I talk about in the film, of like reclaiming and rebuilding myself, and here we are. So it feels amazing to be here.
That's great. So you're still doing the modeling then?
I am. I continue doing modeling. I guess that's something I could have added to. Yeah, I still have some clients, and I do love this job. So, I'm always multitasking. So now it's just finding a balance in it all.
That's great. Okay, well, so your film will be out on June 7th on Sunday, 2:30 p.m. So if you happen to be in New York City at that time, definitely go check it out. It's a really great film. And then, of course, you're going to be doing all kinds of other things and different experiences beyond that. So thank you again so much for agreeing to be on the show and sharing some insights about the film. Again, really great film, and look forward to again seeing it in person or seeing you there. All right. Thank you again, Branislav and Monika. Really appreciate your time, and have a great rest of the day. Have a good weekend.
having us.
Bye bye.